I have to give some credit to you. I did watch your videos. It were available on YouTube about the breaking of the syllabus, and I think that was one of the starting points. Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, first, congratulations, Avinash.
Thank you, sir.
Brilliant, really brilliant performance, right? This was your first attempt, right?
Yes, sir.
That is something. So I will take a much more elaborate interview, right? So that the
Yes, sir.
student could, get benefit out of it. Okay, so let us start. And let me, first, you introduce yourself, right? A little bit about yourself. I mean, which college you are from, I mean, what's your attempt, etc. Everything in detail. Yeah, please go ahead.
I did my graduation in the BA LLB honors from National Law School of India University, Bangalore.
Okay.
Uh, and my option was also law, naturally. And this was my first attempt at UPSC.
Okay. And being the first attempt, right? How did you integrate your preparation? I mean, when did you thought actually of getting into civil services? I mean, which year you started to prepare?
So for me, actually, while probably in fourth year, I thought I should do civil services,
Okay.
but in my university was a bit hectic. So did
Okay.
not actually get the time to prepare, and the preparation started just when the pandemic started in April 2020, because then the classes were online.
Okay.
Uh, and in my final year, last trimester, we had trimester system in college. Last trimester, I started. I
Mhm.
wrote in 2020.
Okay, okay. So it means this lockdown was sort of a blessing in disguise for you, huh? We can say that, right? You have started along with that, right? Because college
Benefit.
going, etc., quite hectic. That I understand. That I understand. Okay, so how come you? I mean, how did you started with it? I mean, you started with first looking at the syllabus and then integrating it to your study, or how did? I mean, the purpose is that how do you advise the student who are in fourth or third year of good universities, right? How to go about it? I mean, where did you start and where should they start?
I have to give some credit to you. I did watch your videos. It were available on YouTube about the breaking of the syllabus, and I think that was one of the starting points.
Okay.
That my senior Jaydev, he had gotten rank 5 in 2019, just when I started preparation.
Okay.
So I took his notes, and his notes were very concise. They were modeled on the syllabus, nothing, not a word extra out of the syllabus.
Okay.
So I took his notes as my extended syllabus, in the sense that they were my first two readings. Then I went deeper where required from that notes itself.
Okay, okay, okay. So it means, I mean, the student who are looking for it, right, they should first, look at the syllabus and takes topper's note or your note, in fact, right, and sort of start build on from that, right? Okay.
Yes,
Okay. So now let us move to the constitutions. I mean the subjects wise, right? So let us start with the constitutional law. How did you handle constitutional law? Because constitutional law, the question is more.
so,
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, please.
definitely, I think they are more GS type. This time there were more GS
Yeah,
type
very correct.
questions. And for me, constitutional law is my favorite subject. It was not a problem for me so much. Uh, Plus, for me, uh, definitely the notes. I had very good notes from university, including slides from university were there. They were very exhaustive, and all standard cases were mentioned. I used them, and that made it much easier because I had already read it during the university. Uh,
Okay, so that was done, bro. Okay, what about the international law? I mean, I know multiple there are multiple books, right? But in some of the books, all the syllabus are not there. So how did you cover it, or what was your general approach towards international law? In fact, I was
um,
looking at your copy. You got highest marks in international law, right? So, I mean, what did you did to achieve such a good marks?
For me, I think international law was a weak point initially, and I put too much effort into it because I did not have a strong base in it.
Okay.
I started with SK Kapoor, I went through the S.K. Kapoor, at least 2 readings, and then I made my notes out of what I read.
Okay.
Other pointers such as IMF, World Bank, and those international organizations. For them, I used sources from the internet.
Okay. So that is how you covered the whole subject. So that's good. And what about paper two, the law of crime? Which books you referred to that for that?
So I refer to Pillai,
Okay.
because especially the theoretical part. Just having sections, I also included some of the theoretical part in it. The commentary also. But I think mostly it's Berak oriented, paper to crime, and with that, my senior's notes was also helpful.
Okay. And what about the law of tort? I mean, I think one of this rank 33, right? Jispinder. He told me that he have read, something very gist written in the Bangya in the last of the book, right? So, what about you? Have you gone through them, or again you have referred to some notes?
So Bhagya, I think is more than enough for torts, because, but I think the gist is not enough. Just the gist is not enough. I did read exhaustively the chapters and made a case list, because torts there are no sections or no statute you can refer to. So I made a case list for the topic.
Okay, okay. So I will, request you to give me that case list also, right? So I will circulate among the students as well your, slides that you are referring to, right? So that is also will be helpful. Okay, what about the CLD part? It's very dynamic and very broad. So how did you handle that?
So, because 2020, the year before my year, CLE part, the questions were extremely unconventional. They had asked most IPR heavy questions, and so I did do all the IPR in depth. For that, I used the Dookies.
Okay.
I think they were concise, and they quickly I could finish it then. And for RTI and various other acts, I used the Bear Act. I did referring for me. I think going through the Bear Act once helps, because then I can recall the sections immediately. Uh, and then there were certain notes that actually you had also circulated. No,
So separated by me, that's 6 PDF. Okay. Yes.
I think even I referred to them. Environmental law, for me the benefit was I had actually read the Bear Acts, because if you look at the syllabus, the word it uses, I can't think
The
it.
laws of India, environmental laws of India.
It uses laws.
Reviews, yeah.
And it uses, I think, legislations related to something like that. So I made a list of all the environmental legislations that are there, and I went through them. And I think that was useful, because direct question and Air Act was asked, which was quite unconventional. So I could answer that very well. So I think sticking to the syllabus, interpreting the syllabus as a lawyer would do, helped me. And which other some I left RTI and all. I think of that also. I think Bayrak was what I used.
Okay, and what about that contract law part? Because there are some of the topics which is a law in itself, right? Like negotiable instrument, etc. So how did you handle it? Did you read the whole instrument act, or did you prioritize something?
Then I read the whole instrument act. In fact, I had to prepare notes for even the things that people suggest you not to do. People say only 138 section 138 is enough, but I read the entire statute, made notes for all the sections.
Doctrine of subrogation, etc. Everything you read, huh?
Everything I read, because I didn't want this to be the reason to not to get good marks.
That is very good. Okay, so the advice for the contract law is that do not only read the contract act, but also every section, right? I mean every topic mentioned as a which is now a separate statute. So that also has to be read, right?
Look at the past 20 years questions and just glance through them. There are 3 4 topics that usually repeats: endorsement, and some of the topics that repeat. At least for those topics, I think you should have answers ready in the mercantile law.
Okay, now the question, right? That those who are preparing, right, and very nicely in the very first attempt you get it right. Now, what are the messages that you think that you will be giving to students who are just either they are starting, or they have already spent 2 3 years preparing for it, right? So any comment for them?
From law optional, I thought there are certain pros and cons of law optional.
Yeah.
For me, to be very frank, you do not get the marks that you get in anthropology or sociology. 300, 340 in maths is not possible in law. But the benefit of law optional here is very, very rarely your marks tanks to very low levels. And
That
that
is,
is,
that is what I keep saying. Consistency is important here, right? So you have a consistent performance rather than spiking in some years. That is very good.
and that is the
How much?
benefit.
How much? Sorry to interrupt. How much marks did you get actually?
So around 260 I got.
Achha, 260 around you got. Okay, so it means if you could have improved, that 20 marks, you could have been in top 10, I suppose, right?
So,
But that
and
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
for me, benefit was that it saved a lot of time. I didn't have for me because my background was in law. My GS scores were very high because I put more effort there. But then you have to prioritize. Law, the easy part is that if you can figure out the past year question, that is the very important. At least for paper one, it was completely from past year papers. That kind of you have the benefit. Just go through the past year questions, make good answers for them, and practice them. I think you will definitely score 250 is guaranteed.
Correct. And little bit of refining, you can easily get to 280. That is why I also say 280 is doable. 300 is very exceptional, but 260 280 is doable. That's very good. Okay, now the important question, right? That I mean, not the important question, but generic question people generally ask. What was your plan B, right? What did you thought that suppose you could not qualify? Then I mean, obviously you are young. This was the first attempt, so you must have been thinking that okay, I will give 2 3 more attempts. But still, what was your plan B? What you could have done if you have not done the law? I mean, this sorry, civil services.
So I had provisioned for 2 to 3 attempts max. I think two is what I would have stretched myself already because I think I had opportunities at law in the law field itself because and therefore I thought that I shouldn't be putting. I made sure that my first attempt was my best attempt, so that there are no regrets. That this is the best I can give. With that feeling, I wrote like.
Very remarkable. Yes. And what about this time frame that you took to study the whole law syllabus I mean, from topic to topic? What amount of time did you give? I mean, in the terms of month, I'm asking 4 month, 5 month, or 6 month, a year.
So for me, I think it took around 3 to 4 months. But the thing is, I did it in the beginning. The first thing I did was finish my law optional syllabus. Then I started GS and all because then throughout you're revising what you've read, you're adding news, you're watching. And I think some of my good marks in paper two was because I added very latest cases. That means the ones that were in news very recently quoted the judge's name. I think that helped because if you make the notes initially and then from live law or something, you're adding cases that you come across. I think enriched your notes and that helped.
Okay, okay. So in terms of overlapping, right? How did the law optional help you in GS paper, the compulsory GS papers? I mean, first, did they help you at all, right? And if yes, then how? In which areas of the GS paper do you think it helped?
So I think definitely it was a help. I in GS2 I got 121, which is good marks compared to this time how much I have gotten. I think that was because of the law background. And if you look at the questions also this time, they were very law oriented. First question was describe constitutional morality, and as soon as that boosted my confidence because for us with law background it was very easy to answer. So I think that definitely did help in GS.
Now I will be again requesting you, right? Once this tomorrow there is this prelims, right? So after that I will be requesting you, right? Just 1 hour or something session with the students of our institute, right? So you please guide them, right? At least in the test part, okay? And how to write, how to go about it, okay? And there's one of your friend also, right? He could not qualify this year, right? So he also got good marks, right? But he will definitely, he will. He was very good student, right? Anyway, so these days generally people are qualifying. I mean, they are even beating IITs people, right? So that is something remarkable, and that should be also, right, because you guys have more nuanced understanding of humanities rather than that, right? So that is something very good. Okay, then, so that will be all for this, right? Any other the last point that you want to add for law graduates? How, I mean, just sort of a last, yeah.
So I don't know. I think I was lucky. I might have cleared the exam, but first time I cleared it, you need luck with efforts, I think. And law was for me a kind of outlet where when for me from studying GS, if I'm tired, I used to go to law. It is something I was genuinely interested in. So if you're interested in this subject, I think something you should choose as an optional is what I would say.
Okay, so that was really, really wonderful, right? So that will be all for this, session, and definitely we will have chat on a regular basis. Okay, and please, whenever required, I will, while taking tests or in foundation batch, I sometimes pick out the students, right? Like if you remember, keep telling you, you have a chance, you have a chance, right? So I pick out some of the students who are, it seems that they might qualify. Okay, so if they need some sort of help, I will definitely refer them to you. Okay, so please, help them out more and more and use people, right? in the civil service. So that is much more better also, if you think about civil services. So suppose obviously administrative efficiency, etc., is always there, right? But a particular policy or decision must be judicially tenable also, right? So in that sense, you guys will be much better administrator, right, rather than people who are only effective manager, right? So that is something very remarkable. Okay, then let us wind it up for today. Okay, and we will keep interacting. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
After